What's up, all you Quantumaniacs? We decided to stick with the name, so welcome to another episode of Fan Friday. I'd like to thank you guys for all commenting, asking me questions. You know, it's you guys that drive this channel, so let's keep it going. Let's keep the momentum rolling. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, bring a friend. Next time, bring a friend. We'll do this. Have your people call my people. We'll do this. Now let's get into the questions. A lot of you guys have been asking me about the draft, free agency, and trades. I think that what Patricia and Quinn are trying to do is build a culture within the Patriot system. The media always portrays that Patriot way, and I think that that's the way to go. You have to build a winning culture, or have people buy into your culture to be a winning franchise. And that's exactly what Patricia has been trying to do. And I think this is the first year with a team full of the players that he wants. I don't think that the Lions teams that we had were capable of competing and were capable of winning a playoff game. They were poorly structured, and you can kind of see that they've cleaned house a lot. A lot of the guys that were on contracts, they're letting leave. The Darius Slay trade, that was big this week because Darius Slay is a really good defensive back, but I don't think that he was as elite as he thought he was, and that's why you saw the lack of respect on his end for Matt Patricia. I don't hate the fact that Patricia called him out in a meeting. I know that there are some players that kind of, they feel themselves sometimes, and I think Darius Slay was really good, but I don't think he was in that elite level with a guy like a Richard Sherman or a Aqib Talib. I think he's probably a rung below, which isn't bad. Like, to say that you're on the outskirts of being an elite cornerback is great, but you still have to be coachable. You still have to get better, and I don't think Patricia ever saw Darius Slay as like a Stephon Gilmore or somebody that could lock down the whole side of the field. I think that Darius Slay was really good, and what he did in Detroit was amazing, and best of luck to him in Philadelphia. But it was a necessary step. They saved some money by picking up Qwality, who isn't a major drop off from Slay, which is good because from what it looks like they're building a defense that with a secondary that can play man. They got a good pickup and DeQwan Harmon at free safety, a guy with range who makes interceptions and turnovers, which is what this team desperately needs. We still have Justin Coleman in the slot, and you got Qwality on the outside, so that's why I think that they're going to draft Okudah. I don't think Chase Young will be available, so whether they trade back or whether they stay in the 3 spot and draft Okudah, I think he's going to be a Detroit Lion because he's ready. I think that this organization has put a win now mandate on Quinn and Patricia, and they're making the preparation to win now. If they don't, I'd give it to the middle of the season to see what the outlook is. This is year 3 in a rebuild. It was a very soft rebuild. We lost our quarterback last season. Stafford was out for 8 games. So we got to tank, and they made up for that by signing Chase Daniel, which Chase Daniel is a guy that's going to be able to win you games. We've seen it as Lions fans. That's a guy that they're saying if Stafford isn't healthy for the entire season, Chase Daniel can go out there and win us some games and still keep us as a fringe playoff team. And I think that's a really smart move to get a leader because of the inconsistencies of Blau and Jeff Driscoll being not good at all. It kept us out of winning games and finishing games late in the season. So what they did is they went out and they got a bunch of veterans who've been in their system, who are familiar with their system, and guys that they know can make plays. So I think that win now mandate has got them by a stranglehold because you see guys like Jamie Collins, Desmond Qwality. I don't think those are guys that we would normally get in Detroit as free agent signings. I like the signings. I don't think that there's anything wrong with who they picked up in the secondary who's going to fill a hole. Nick Williams, a good run stopper, had a breakout season last season in Chicago with 6 sacks. I've actually worked with Nick Williams. I just dropped a interview I did with him in 2014, so make sure you check that out. I think the wild card is the signing of Vaitai because they see the potential, but you don't really know what type of player you're going to get. And you're paying them big bucks, and the quarterback's been injured. So there's a lot of, I guess, work that they're going to have to do to make sure that everybody's on the same page. And given this outbreak situation, this pandemic situation, we don't even know if the season's going to start on a regular schedule. So they'll have time to gel, they'll have time to mesh, but that's going to be one of the variables that you don't see. Look to them improving and bolstering the offensive line in the draft too. If they trade down, like I've been seeing some mocks out there, Mel Kiper dropped one where they trade down to 5 and get a late round pick, I look for them to go O-line. And I think that the only move that I would like to see is them to grab a running back. Now, somebody asked the outlook on the season, and realistically, I think the minimum is 8-8. Optimistically, I see 10-6. If you look at the schedule, I'm saying 10-6 because I see losses to Green Bay, probably at Lambeau. I see a loss to the Saints, a loss to the Buccaneers, probably a loss to Minnesota on the road, and a loss to the Titans on the road. And I think that's it. Maybe a loss to the Colts at home. I'm not sure. Like, it's hard to predict. Once again, like, I don't know the makeup of this team. I know we're a really good offense. Seeing how the defense comes together, that's it, because they were bad and they've taken the steps to improve. You just don't know how big the improvement will be, because it doesn't have to be a major jump where they're the first defense in the league. Because you saw, if you take that 8-game sample size with Matt Stafford last season, they were in every game. And I think there was a point until later in the season when David Blau was playing or Jeff Driscoll was playing that it was the first time after like 12 games that the Lions didn't lead every game. So I think they're right there. You just have to see what the improvements in free agency and the draft will do on defense, because I think the offense is there. If Stafford plays all 16, I think that they'll be really good. But you never know with a broken back, and I don't. That's another variable. You know, you got a bunch of old guys that are coming off of injuries. That's another variable. There's so much up in the air with this, but I think they've taken the necessary steps to see themselves succeed, and they've had a pretty good offseason. And this is something I don't think I've ever said from a Lions perspective or as a Lions fan. I think that they really took the steps to improve and get better and actually win this playoff or win this season. Now to get to some of the other questions. This is from Kevin Favron. I actually spoke to Kev on Skype. He's a pretty good guy, pretty funny. Other than sports or sports entertainment, what kind of content do you see yourself making? If you check the channel, I'll make whatever. I'm probably going to start a sketch show pretty soon. I just got a lot of pieces moving, and once I get the ball rolling, you'll see more videos, you'll see more content. From Marco DeCreech, I hope I said that right. Madden or NCAA games, and what team is your go-to? I was always a Madden guy. I played NCAA, I think, probably like in the early 2000s, and that's been like the last time. Madden 2006, I know for sure. I played with the Broncos. Tatum Bell, and Madden 2006, he's the greatest running back ever in the history of anything. So I would bang out like 200, 300-yard games with Tatum Bell. I started playing with the Lions. I took a couple years off from Madden, I think from like 07 to 09. Whenever the PS3 dropped, I couldn't get a PS3 till like 2009 or 2010. Then I started playing with the Lions again. So I've been when they got Stafford, I started playing with the Lions. I don't think there's anybody on this earth that could have beat me from like 2000, especially like early 2000s, from 2002 to 2005. Probably only a few people, like professional gamers, who could have beat me. But I play with the Lions. I'm a homer through and through. Do you watch and cover combat sports too, mainly boxing and MMA? I just finished the top 10 heavyweights ever over on the new channel, Boxing Now. That's where I'll be doing all my combat sports content, so go check them out, subscribe to their channel, like the video, go watch it. They got some good stuff on there, but I'll be bringing my video essay type of deal to their channel, talking about some fights, probably previewing some fights and doing some other things on that channel. So go check out that channel, Boxing Now. Okay, so one thing that I've been seeing that I don't really like is the top 5 wide receivers list. Now look, I know you guys have the internet at your leisure and you need something to bolster your arguments. You need to stand out. You need to kind of be an individual. But I'm telling you this right now, and I mean it with the utmost sincerity. Don't ever put Don Hutson in a top 5 receivers list, ever. He was really good in 1930 when they had just invented the forward pass. He ran a 10.6. That's pretty good in 1930. Don Hutson is not a top 5 receiver all time. I don't care how you spin it. I don't care who you talk to. There's no way that you drop Don Hutson in the NFL today and he'll be a top 5 receiver. And it's not, no, don't do that. Maybe you're trolling or maybe you just don't know. Don Hutson played against a bunch of milkmen who had second jobs, or they were mailmen, or they worked in a coal mine. Let's not get carried away with his contribution to the game. He was really good for his era. He revolutionized the forward pass. Yes, that's all great, but he's not a top 5 receiver of all time. Here's my list of top 5 receivers all time. Bias at the end, but yes, there's no way that Don Hutson is on this list or makes this list. I'll be doing a video on the top 10 receivers of all time at some point here, but this is just outrageous to say that a guy from 1930 is better than some of the more modern wide receivers. And that's not to take away from anything that he's done in his career. He's a Hall of Famer, top 10 wide receivers all time list. But come on. Like, you guys got to get serious. Let's talk about your top 5 list in the comment section below. I'll stick around down there. I'll give some reasoning for who I put where and why I put them there. But don't ever put Don Hutson in another top 5 wide receivers of all time conversation list again. Please. It's embarrassing. You just look stupid to everybody. You're trying to be different and you think that, no, not at all. That was another edition of Fan Friday. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, make sure you check out some more content on our channel, subscribe, and like the video. We'll see you guys next week.